Greetings, petrol heads. Welcome back to Automation the Car Company Tycoon game. So today we're going to do I'm going to do my last engine tutorials. We've done inline fours, we've done inline sixes, we've done V8s. Now we're going to do V6s. And you know, V12s too once they're out. I think for the inline sixes I'm gonna just also do the turbo engines, because naturally aspirated I've already done on the inline fours, and we know it's basically the same for all engine types. What kind of bore the stroke do we want? Let's go a little bit more on it. Actually, let's go a little bit more on the stroke, because usually V6s are a little bit more on the torquey side, a little bit, they're actually kind of common in sports cars, but they're also very common in just everyday cars these days. Dual overhead cam, 4 valves per cylinder, no VVL this time. And what do? We make, well, first of all we're gonna be making the eco version, but it's gonna be turbocharged, so I'm gonna go with forged steel crank, because turbos obviously make a good amount of torque. Then forged H-beam conrods, and then some low friction cast pistons, I would say, for best possible economy. But this is the 2015 V6 tutorials. Okay, so we have a 3 liter. We can work with this. So the Eco is gonna have a pretty low cam profile. Let's take VVT for a change. Turbo, and then we go with a water to air intercooler or ball bearing, not or. You can also go with a air to air large intercooler if you want to. That'll be a little bit less effective, slightly reduce power output, use a slightly higher fuel octane, so you have to lower the compression just by 1 or 2 points. But it'll also be a lot lighter. So if you're building a lightweight sports car with a turbo V6, then air to air large might be an option. So again, this is going to be the eco version, so we reduce things quite a bit. Also the boost. Let's go down to 0.6 this time, because this is going to be super economical then. Injection, direct injection, premium, all the way leaned out. And then RPM limit of let's say 6,000 for now, because we don't have fantastic pistons for high revs. Let's go with dual exhausts. This should be certainly enough. 2 straightforward mufflers, doesn't really matter what mufflers you choose. We're already suffering in terms of the pistons. You know what? I'm gonna go and choose these instead for lower emissions and also higher RPM and torque limits. And then we can tune this thing some more. That actually did not help. Okay, 34.5 is as low as we want to go here. Lower that a little bit more. We need a smaller exhaust size. Actually, it is restrictive if we reduce the exhaust size. And the 189 horsepower is really not where you want to be on a 3-liter V6 turbo. Yeah, you know what, let's just increase the boost to 0.8 or something. .99 horsepower is still not really that great. But now a bigger compressor size will help us a little bit. 200 horsepower. I mean, this, if you want a super economical engine, then this is probably really good for what you like. But to make it a little bit more realistic, like nobody builds 3-liter turbo engines with only 200 horsepower these days. But you know, actually, why not? Why not? If it's an eco engine, you know, this thing's got the torque, or at least plenty of torque for an everyday eco car, that's for sure. So this is the Turbo Eco. Of course, like, this is just a basic guideline of what to do when you want to build an economical turbo V6. You can of course change as much as you want here. You can go lower on the boost, you can go higher on the boost, you can just change these settings, go and change the cam profile, anything, whatever you really want to. But this is kind of a basic guideline of what to do for an eco engine. To make it more economical, you could reduce the boost, increase the compression ratio like we had, or you could decrease the cam profile or other things. So excuse me, there we go. So now we're gonna build a sporty version of this engine, which means we want higher RPMs. A lot higher cam profile, higher RPM limit, bigger exhaust, and yeah, change these settings quite a bit. .15 is usually a pretty good value here for just a regular sporty turbo engine. Again, like, how much power do we want here? That's 325 horsepower right there. I mean, let's say let's go for 350, or you know what? Let's go for 400 horsepower on the sport engine. So I'm gonna not reduce but increase the boost to 1.0. Reduce this a little bit. Now we're at 342. This is gonna have quite a bit of turbo lag, or at least, you know, turbo lag is the wrong word. That unfortunately is commonly used for the fact that the turbo takes a long time to spool up. This is not ideal in the least. Like, I don't like this power and torque curve at all. Let's reduce this. Let's go back to like 325 or something, like this. And that is already, like, if you're gonna be building a 325 horsepower turbo V6, that's pretty much, as far as power output goes, this is pretty much on par with like a BMW 335i, which has an inline six, of course, but it's certainly no slouch. We put in some throttle per cylinder configuration because this gives us a much better throttle response. And of course, if you want to, you can enrich the fuel mixture a little bit. Personally, I oftentimes don't need to enrich the fuel mixture because I can get some more power and torque by other means. Obviously, if I'm going to build a super sport engine, I'm going to enrich the fuel mixture. So with that, 330 is, I think, as far as I want to go with this sport engine. And then we are going to go for the best parts and make a super sport engine. Now keep in mind that we have a much higher stroke than bore, so we cannot rev this thing as high as maybe some other engines. 7700, and then we get valve float, but that we can handle by just increasing this. It's really until we get bottom end issues, which is after 8100 RPM. Okay, so now we have a little bit of a guideline of how far we can go. At 360 horsepower right there. Of course, we are also going to increase the cam profile. That didn't actually give us that much. Let's leave it at 70 then for now. 1.2 bars. A lot more compressor size, like a lot more. .425 horsepower, and increase the turbine size. That's 500 horsepower right there. The performance index is better with the smaller exhaust. Okay, well, I'm not gonna complain. The only thing that certainly is a little bit bad about this engine is that the turbo only fully kicks in at 4500 RPM, and yeah, that might cause a little bit of trouble off the line. Oh yeah, we can definitely decrease this to reduce that a little bit, and increase the AR ratio. That gives us more power, and the turbo still kicks in at 4500 RPM. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to decrease the compressor size and the turbine size a little bit, so we get down to about 500 horsepower. 501 is fine for me. .2, that's 500. The torque is a little bit peaky, but still there's a lot of it for a lot of the rev range after 4000 RPM at least. Yeah, so this is an engine that I think I'm gonna have a hard time really getting a lot of power out and still making that power usable. Of course, we can just increase the quality on the turbo right here, and the spool up just slightly earlier. even so, like it didn't do all that much for us. But this is definitely a viable way to make a 3-liter twin turbo V6 that makes 500 horsepower. Like if you put this very engine into a car that has traction, it would be quite fast, I would say. If you put that into, say, I don't know, a Subaru Impreza with 4-wheel drive traction, it would go pretty damn fast. I can tell you that much. So this is the Turbo Super of the V6 variety, and of course, if you wanna have more power, go for bigger turbine, bigger compressor, more boost and everything, richer fuel mixture. It's again a matter of how far do you want to go. I'm trying to make these things a little bit more realistic, but if you want to have fun, of course, go ahead, do it. So hope you guys enjoyed the episode. Leave a like or a comment if you did. Thank you for watching. I will see you next time.